Oh my god, this episode is a joke.
Like, I'm a trans man and I'm gay and I have been pregnant and I've had an abortion before.
I would say you need pills, but that's probably the problem.
Black children need to be separated from white children and any other race.
You are the elephant in the room, sir. Looking like Big Back Mountain. Lefty people are actually starting to cancel this person, which it's rare they ever cancel someone that's trans, except for me. Get out.
Hey, bro.
Hey, what's up? Have you heard the good news?
Are you pregnant?
That's not possible.
Blossom finally got a good wig?
That's even less possible. Even better. I'm going on tour. I am so excited to be doing a live version of my podcast at the Blaire White Project all over America and Toronto, Canada. Each show will have a signing, a meet and greet, a special hangout for VIP fans, and a portion where you can grab the mic and talk to me, ask me questions, drag me. Don't do that. I would say my podcast is pretty uncensored, but imagine how uncensored we can get together in person. I'm a little scared. We're stopping in Austin, Phoenix, Washington, D.C., Brooklyn, Atlanta, Toronto, Canada, Minneapolis, Chicago, Orlando, Dallas, Houston, and Nashville. Get your tickets now at x1entertainment.com/Blaire White, link in the description. You guys know I have not done any in-person events in years, literally. So I don't know when the next time this is gonna happen. This is something very special for the Blaire White Army. So if you're a member of the Blaire White Army, I'm gonna need you to make sure you don't miss the Blaire White Takes America tour. See you soon. Hey guys, welcome back to the Blaire White Project podcast. Sorry it's been a hot minute since I've posted. I've been trying to get my mind right, pick up new hobbies, new healthy habits. I got a puss. But with all those updates out of the way, let's jump into the news. Bachelorette alum now identifies as a woman. Women wear. It's so crazy because if you would have, listened to the haters of Blaire White, just maybe even 1-2 years ago, it would be told as if this is a fantasy, that there are clout chasers who pretend to be trans just for said clout, and yet now it's everywhere.
Hey everyone! So I want to talk today about the elephant in the room that women don't like talking about, but we all think about, having a bulge. Having a bulge doesn't magically make you a man. Having a bulge doesn't negate your womanhood. A lot of us women still have our bits and pieces, and that's okay. So I think we really need to start changing the language and discourse around this issue, and start normalizing it.
Talking about the elephant in the room. You are the elephant in the room, sir. Looking like Big Back Mountain. Back as big as this damn window I'm looking at in front of me could never pass as a woman. And yet, here you are. I feel bad for, he was on what, The Bachelor? Was he The Bachelor or like on The Bachelorette trying to be with a woman? I would feel bad for whoever was with him. I mean, this is quite bleak to watch.
Hey everyone! So I just rented one of these shareable bikes and they're kind of useless. I gotta be honest, I hate having my male parts. It's such a drag, no pun intended, and it just really gets in the way and it's super annoying. So I feel like they need to make bikes that are more ergonomic and trans friendly. So drop a comment and let me know what you think. Bye everyone!
Lack of trans-friendly bicycles, or do you have an excess of nuts? Is there a lack of trans-friendly bicycles, or do you have too many nuts, sir? My God. I mean, here's the thing. Dylan Mulvaney was an innovator. Dylan Mulvaney was truly ahead of Zer's time. I mean, this is a lane specifically opened by Dylan. And now the floodgates are open and it is what it is. I do feel like people are waking up now. I see trans people all the time. I saw some trannies for Trump.
Trannies for Trump.
Trannies for Trump, man. Like, come on. Like, the ZZ Zim, the non-binary, identify as static. Like, I just want to be a regular ass tranny.
Please do not pretend like those are not my children. Those are my children. Those are my daughters. And I'm proud of that. And I do think that that is going to be the wave going forward, is trans people like not being pieces of shit, right? Not being whatever the fuck this is, whatever this disease is. It's giving monkeypox.
Hey everyone, I'm outside the DNC showing my support to Palestinians. I know if I was in their country, they would accept me with open arms, so I just want to do the same here. So
sadly, while this is, you know, a fake ass person, the reality is that there is in fact a lot of chicken for KFC ass bitches roaming these streets, because you see it in all these protests. And so if I could make a, you know, point that is a bit separated from this just being a fake ass person, it is quite sad that the LGBT community has in fact lost sight of like what's going on outside of, I don't know where the fuck, their little suburban towns, their states of even Texas or Florida. I saw some tweet the other day. I had like tens of thousands of likes. And it was like, why is everyone concerned about what's going on in the Middle East with LGBT people? Because look what they're doing in Texas and Florida. Look what they're doing in Texas and Florida. So don't be worried about the Middle East. That is demented. That is demented and very much indicative of the fact that it has been about a decade since that community had anything of value to say. And that's sad, because I feel like, again, I'm not even including this person in that because this is a clout chaser ass bitch. But the point is the credibility, right? If there's a history book that really tells this era, the 2020s and the late 10s, as it really is, which we all know history is fake, so it won't. But if, you know, Jesus comes down and writes a little history book about what really went down, it's going to be the story about how the LGBT community lost all credibility because they stopped talking about shit that really mattered and shit that was real. And they exhausted society's tolerance towards them. There is, in fact, a limit to tolerance. There is, in fact, a cap of ridiculous shit you can do and ask for that gets people a bit fatigued, a bit tired, a bit over it.
I want you to think about it. Why is this such a roadblock? I'm a transgender woman. My pronouns are she, her, and I will only accept those pronouns. I will not be addressed any other way.
Right? I've been over it for a while. If you think about it, I mean, I saw all this shit coming down the pipeline, but I was talking about this in like 2016 when it wasn't much of a issue. So I could actually see how people used to call me a hater, but now I'm just a recognizer of the truth. I'm just an observer of what's going on. Maybe in 2016, I was cherry picking these weird ass bitches, right? These big back mountain, strange, doing anything strange for some change, including pretending to be trans ass bitches. Maybe back then I was cherry picking a little bit, but it came to fruition. It happened. And now it's everywhere. So now I'm just observing the truth. And y'all are part of the lie, the haters. And, you know, when I speak of the haters and losers, I do so with love, because it's in fact not their fault they were born fucked up. It's not God's fault either. Maybe it's that fluoride making y'all dumb. I saw some shit that was like the fluoride in the water actually drops your IQ. And isn't that the truth? Isn't that what's going on? I always find, don't we all find ourselves, because especially if you are, you know, part of the Blaire White Army, you're not a dumb bitch, but you definitely notice, right? It's a bit eerie how everywhere you look, it's just the IQ has left the chat. Everyone is stuck on stupid. And how you know they're stuck on stupid is you got this big bag bitch talking about trans for Palestine as if it's a joke. And there are people actually living that joke. They are that joke. So I'll pray for you. But I'm not praying for this person because ew. And shout out to the people that actually see through it. My friend Alex Stein, who has a show on The Blaze, actually confronted. I don't know why I wanted to call her Big Bertha. It's giving Big Bertha or something. Like, watch.
Listen, let's just cut the kayfabe. Do you know who I am? I'm Primetime 99 Pimp on a Blimp. I wear the tuck-friendly bathing suit. I've done it all. I've done this gimmick a million times over. I know what it's like to put on the dress, to try to be funny. How long are you going to do this bit for? I mean, it can only last so long. You can only put on the tuck-friendly bathing suit so long.
Well, it's not a bit for me. It may have been a bit for you, but for me, it's how I feel.
Josh, you're lying. You know, what did your parents say about this? Does your mom or dad know about this? Are you close to them?
I'm close with some family members, yeah.
And I'm sure that they do not like this because they know that Josh is a bodybuilding guy that likes to slam babes. That's why he's on The Bachelorette. And they know this is all a gimmick, and you have 1 million Instagram followers, and now you're going super viral, and I know what that's like. Why are you going to do this to them for so long, Josh?
Yeah, I'm just living my authentic truth. And
come on, Josh, show me too. Quit playing with me. I'm the pimp on a blimp, Josh. I can do this bit. I can do this dance with you. We can joke around, and I'll be nice, and I'll say all the transgender shit. But you know it's a work. This is a gimmick. This is like professional wrestling. Sorry, I'm not trying to yell at a beautiful lady like you, but.
God forbid a woman lives her truth, right? God forbid a woman has an opinion. Oh my God. I do wonder about the family of these psychopaths quite often. I mean, it's painful just looking at it from the outside looking in. Imagine you're this person's father. Walking around in that dress with that gas station build. She has a gas station build. Oh my God. Unfortunately, though, this is not the only individual demented to this extent. We also have Miss Lily Tino, another independent, strong, beautiful woman.
I'm not staying, I just wanna play. In the party, you just wanna romp. Big boobs in the bus, they pump. She a baddie,
It was the lip bite for me. Oh my God. So we talk a lot about this twisted bitch, but what's interesting is that finally, the actual trans community on TikTok and lefty people are actually starting to cancel this person, which it's rare they ever cancel someone that's trans, except for me. But we'll leave that one alone. And apparently it's because this person slipped up and just watch this video.
Nugget. Nugget shivers a lot.
Roll it one more time.
Nugget. Nugget.
I guess that's what it takes for the wokies to turn on you. And about a week after that dropped, now there are predator accusations. So I won't laugh at that, but it's hard to get a straight face going on to play the clip of the accuser because that was really funny. Mostly because it doesn't even sound like nugget, right? I feel like nugget is a very commonly used word, and especially for me, I love nuggets, and I don't know. I just feel like unless the other word is part of your regular vernacular, that how do you accidentally say that on camera? Wow. Okay, let's get it together because this next video is not funny. That was just a lot to get over. So apparently this person's also being accused of being a sex pest and accused of sexual coercion.
I was just trying to rack in my head whether I was overreacting or not, but I felt so weird in the moment, and I still feel really weird about it. And if I could save one person who may be a victim in the future, that'd be great with me. A few weeks ago, Lily Tino tried to coerce me into having sex with her using her status as a trans influencer with my wife sitting right next to me. I was first introduced to Lily by my wife, and then cut to a few weeks ago, Lily messaged me with the idea of, do you want to go on a work trip with me to Las Vegas? And I tell her immediately no, because I'm on a Canadian work permit, and the moment I leave Canada, it goes null and void. It's not good anymore. But then we hopped on a Discord video chat, and she was still really insistent on wanting me to get to the US ASAP so we could meet together. She really wanted to know the nitty-gritty of why I couldn't currently come to to the US. Meanwhile, I'm just wondering, why is she so urgent about this? Then she just pops out with a bait and switch of, oh, I wanted to actually go to Las Vegas to do OF content together. My wife is sitting literally right next to me. Lily is fully aware of my wife, JC, and how we're together and how we're monogamous. I never hinted to Lily that I was interested in anything like that, and I'm wondering why she assumed I would just agree to it immediately if borders weren't an issue, because no, I would not have agreed to that under any circumstances. We didn't have that kind of relationship at all, me and Lily. So after our call, I'm just sitting there very exhausted, wondering, why do I feel so bothered right now? That I said no or I can't 3 different times.
She could have just said no.
And finally, if you're wondering why I haven't responded till now, it's because the day I was going to respond last week, I was contacted by another victim named Cassie, who was tied up in this entire Vegas situation too. Her situation's very similar to mine, except for her, Lily stalked, groomed, and refused to take no for an answer countless times, to the point where on Lily's live streams, I was tricked because Lily was publicly saying that she already had someone to go to Vegas with her after I said no.
Maybe that's why the N-word came out so easily from Miss Lily's mouth, because the word no is the N-word to sexual predators like this. Like, that's their N-word. Like, they're not going to hear the word no. They're going to censor the word no. That they don't want to hear that shit. But, you know, that's just highly predictable, right? That this person would also be a sex pest. There's also a video of this person talking about their sex content with their mother. And I'll insert that as well.
And don't tell my mom I said this, as if she's not sitting right next to me. Earmuffs, mother. Thank you. You get spicy content of me. Spicy things. I did some spicy stuff today while my mom was gone. Don't tell her I said that, okay? All right. Now I'm going to go back so she can't see me. Okay. So, if you subscribe at the $10 level, you get that stuff, and so on and so forth.
This out in the open shit, like talking about it with your mom and harassing people to have sex with you over the internet. I mean, you just gotta chill, Nugget. Nugget, please. To wrap this up, though, the point is, unfortunately, as you can see by the fact that Ms. Nugget has an OnlyFans, as you can see by the fact that this person has an OnlyFans and is running it up on TikTok and monetizing all their stuff, and, you know, Josh Cedar's getting all this clout, interviews, money, clicks. It's like, we have reached a point where trans is profitable. And it's not like I haven't benefited from that, right? Like, I've had a career that, of course, is possible, I would say at least 50% by the fact that I'm trans. I mean, I could definitely be a political commentator and probably have a nice run because I am a smart ass bitch without being trans, but it definitely helps, right? It definitely gives a bit more of a clickability. So I understand that. But at least I'm actually trans, right? Right? I'm not Nugget over here or Big Bertha, Big Back Bertha coming on and pretending to be trans for money. Moving on. Now Kamala Harris wants to build a wall. Oh my God, this episode is a joke. This episode's a joke. And it's not a joke because of me. It's a joke because of the people we're covering here. And it's very sad we have to group in the current one of the 2 presidential candidates and potential first female president with being on the same intellectual level as the last 2 people we talked about, but we do. Interesting that we're told that a wall is this racist, it's xenophobic, it's the symbol of hate, and all of a sudden, once Miss Camel Toe comes around and realizes that this is in fact a center-right country, and if you have any chance of winning at this point, you're going to have to maybe move to the right a little bit while still being a commie. Now she wants to build a wall. But what's so funny about that is this tweet. Post. Sorry, Elon. X post. Trump's border wall is just a stupid use of money. I will block any funding for it. So maybe Miss Camel Toe should actually be called Miss Chameleon, because this bitch is shape-shifting like the reptilian whore you know she is. Reptilian. Just like Nancy Pelosi. Don't believe me? Believe her.
We're different from the president. We're very discreet, reptilian, cold-blooded.
And it's not just that tweet. It's a whole collage of tweets that someone put up. Trump's border wall would be an absolute waste of taxpayer money. I won't support it. I mean, you have to zoom in to even read these because this collage is so huge. It's like, oh my God.
Let's be perfectly clear. The president's medieval vanity project is not going to stop them. Folks have plenty enough problems that they need their president to focus on. You know what? Instead of a wall. That wall ain't gonna stop them. No.
This is who y'all want to be. I firmly believe if Kamala Harris, I will put a slight bit of respect on her name. I'll stop calling her Camel Toe. I'll give a few Kamala Harrises to her, right? Miss Kamala Harris, I firmly believe that she is elected the first female president. We ain't gonna have another one ever.
We have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
It is going to be such a disaster. Ain't nobody gonna vote for a woman ever again. And as someone who, you know, I'm most definitely not opposed to the idea of a female president. Like, I don't know. I remember watching Miss Tulsi Gabbard during the Democratic primaries back in 2019, 2020. I remember thinking, would my Republican ass vote for this Democrat?
There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
I was thinking about it. Not really. I was always going to vote for Trump, but in another universe where, you know, I was still a lib, she would have spoke to my ass. Meanwhile, Kamala, you know, it's just crazy because we went from, wow, she really has no policies, for which she still has no policies on her website. She has more pronouns than policies on her website. Catch it. What? I don't know what that language is or why all the people who speak it are so goddamn ugly and overweight, but that's beside the point. We went from her not having any policies to just stealing Trump's. She stole no tax on tips.
We are going to not charge taxes on tips, people making tips.
Eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
Meanwhile, the media, when Trump announced that, was like, this is never gonna work. This is stupid. Oh my God, Trump with another fucking bozo move. And then Miss Kamala steals it. And suddenly it's the best thing ever. So I remember literally telling someone, like, sarcastically, I was like, next thing you know, she's going to build a wall. And now she's building the wall. And I won't hold my breath for you fake ass, principle-less, Democratic rats to call her racist for it. I know not one of y'all are going to call her racist for it. Just Trump, right? Meanwhile, all the other countries that have their walls, have things on the border that prevent people from coming in what world are we supposed to just let people, like, run through us? Why does the United States have to be this ran through ass country, like so many other countries we see having this problem? And the false and very evil framing of it, you know, of the position to not want your country overran by migrants, illegal migrants. The expectation that that is like supposed to be seen as evil or racist, when in reality, we're talking about the fact that we've also inherently removed the necessity for people to actually come and assimilate to our culture, assimilate to our country, and not bring values that are antithetical to our country. Because yes, dear, not all cultures are equal. Many countries still have child brides. Many countries, particularly a bunch in the Middle East, it's still 8-year-olds being married to 40-year-old men, and I could cry even saying that. So unfortunately, to all you cultural relativists who want to believe that there are just no negative ramifications of the country being flooded with a bunch of people who come from cultures that are antithetical. And by the way, we're not even really talking about Mexico there, because if anything, like, Mexican culture is still quite different than American culture, but it's not so radically different because it's just 2 feet away. We're talking about people coming in from all over the world. I know y'all aren't good at maps, but there are many countries below Mexico that it's just a bit different there. And for us to just be the dumping ground, what y'all don't understand is so many of these countries are emptying out their mental facilities, are emptying out their prisons, and dumping these people on the United States, saying go to the US, and then they are threatened with life in prison or execution if they return to their home country. So what you have to understand is it's soft warfare, babe. And soft almost seems like minimizing it. It's something that countries are doing to us. We're not talking about hardworking, lovely people that are escaping some of the shitty policies and realities of life in Mexico or any other country. We're talking about the fact that many of these countries feel so comfortable based on how open our border is that they're dumping the people that they don't want onto us. And the reason they don't want them is often because they are crazy and they are prisoners and they are people from mental wards. Like, this is just a fact. So framing that you want a secure border as somehow being racist or xenophobic, it's a bit ill. Your mind's not quite right. And unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, I mean, shit, I don't believe she'll really build the wall, but I guess there is something nice about the fact that the world has kind of woken up to, like, you're probably not going to win an election without talking about securing the border on either side. But it is quite fake of her to flip-flop like that. Not that she needs to hold on to bad ideas forever, because if she's seen the light, look into the light, baby. But you know she hasn't, because her first interview in over a month of being a candidate, this is what she said.
My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value has not changed.
Her values have not changed. When 2 seconds ago a wall was racist, and now she's like, I'm going to build that wall. Listen. Kamala Harris is an empty void of a person, which is really just what a politician is, right? And that's why people like Trump. I'm sorry. This is why I've always been attracted to Trump. Not like that, right? Not like that. But attracted to his presence in politics is the fact that he is not, in fact, a politician. And so when he says things, you can believe he really believes them. You can, because no matter what, all of his promises from all his campaigns, he's at least tried to get them through. They blocked a lot of that wall building and a lot of that wall funding. And, you know, not everything he promised ever came to fruition, but he attempted most, if not all, those promises. And that is more than I can say for what I believe Miss Camel-Toe will do in office. Raise your hand, class, if you believe she's actually going to attempt to build any type of border while also putting tweets out that there is no such thing as an illegal immigrant. That should be disqualifying. Miss Law and Order. So you want to lock black men up for marijuana and laugh about it, but you don't want to do anything about people here illegally? Okay, that you are the devil, bitch. You are the devil. And when I say that, I don't mean it literally. She's actually just a spawn of the devil, right? A tool of the devil. A pawn in Satan's game, as many others are, like Mr. Walls.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
Who actually was not informed of this wall position, apparently, because if he was, he wouldn't have said this.
And I think seeing a plan that's out there, talking about it with folks, knowing that he's not going to do anything. He talks about this wall. I always say, let me know how high it is. If it's 25 feet, then I'll invest in the 30-foot ladder factory. That's not how you stop this.
So apparently that memo wasn't, put out to Mr. Walls, Mr. Tampon Tim, that you kind of got to be on the same page as Miss VP if you're going to be her future VP. That man is scary. It's just the physiognomy for me, which if you're not pilled on physiognomy, you really have to be, because it comes in a lot of handy. It comes in a lot of handy. You can just see certain things coming from a mile away. And he definitely looks like the kind of person who thinks tampons belong in boys. You can kind of tell by his face. Y'all know he's not even that old. It's evil wears on your soul. That is one of the main lessons that we've learned together over the years, that evil, that demon, that satanic agenda, bitch, it shows up on the exterior. It's not just on the inside. It comes out. It jumps out. And, you know, some may say, if you got enough of that baby's blood, it jumps back in. Oprah. A lot of people say she puts that baby's blood on her skin. Her skin does look quite smooth. She's looking pretty snatched. And if we're just going to get into it a little bit, you know, I'm sure no one needs to even ask why. But if you want a very, you know, direct explanation as to why I am not voting for Miss Kamala Harris, it's because no one even knows who the fuck she is. No one even knows who she is. Did you know that when I did my Kamala and Trump video, like when I went on the street, asked people that, there was a couple people who said they don't really know who Kamala is, which is sad. Because again, that IQ has left the chat. I mean, that's the current VP, so you should know. But regardless, no one knows what position she has, what policy she supports, because it's all fake. It's all fake. And regardless of how you feel about Trump, most people know who he is if you haven't been, you know, neurologically rearranged by the media's depiction of him. But it's just, to me, a very simple decision. Someone who's going to let the country be overrun with illegal immigrants, while our people, by the way, that issue goes so much deeper. Like, our people are on the streets dying. It's like Kourtney Kardashian said, people are dying. And it's just the reality. Like, what was that story yesterday? How the Biden-Harris administration accidentally wired some like obscene amount of money to the Taliban. Meanwhile, we got veterans, we got our mentally ill, we got our addicted, you know, which shout out to even the people that end up on the streets through addiction, because that is incredibly sad. But the point is, our people are on the streets and dying, and you have entire hotels being constructed in major cities, sanctuary cities, for illegal immigrants to be living it up. I was going to say just living. They're living it up. They have free housing. I was talking to Joey's aunt like a week ago, and in her city, they give them free Uber rides. They give them Uber stipends and a cell phone, and our people are dying on the street. So the idea that Americans shouldn't be prioritized in America, and don't get me started on how the fact that they don't even want Americans voting. They want illegal immigrants voting because they statistically vote Democrat. So that's, in fact, see, everything is a projection from that side, right? Republicans are trying to suppress the vote. Ask them next time which vote they're trying to suppress, because they'll tell you black people, because they will use, you know, they use black people to shut down any conversation. They will frame people as hating black people in an effort to shut down any conversation. But in fact, Republicans are trying to suppress the vote, the illegal vote. Because, bitch, I could go on for days about how it was illegal for me to enter restaurants without a COVID vaccine card. But they have y'all voting in American elections, and it's apparently racist to ask for an ID. None of it makes sense.
Like, when you start thinking about it like that, that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it's like totally political, all these moves.
100%.
Yeah.
They're literally importing Democratic voters.
Yeah.
They think by allowing the borders to be porous and by giving people aid and giving people housing, that you're essentially guaranteeing that if you can rig it so that those people are allowed to vote, those people are going to vote Democratic. And if you could say that, oh, voter ID is racist, like, what? Voter ID is racist.
That's crazy that they think that.
But
they don't think that. They don't think that. They know that that's not true.
It's horseshit.
Yeah.
It's all political horseshit.
All of it's sick. All of it's twisted. And all of it is, like I said, of the devil. Now, I wish I could even say, I don't want to vote for Miss Camel Toe because this will happen, this will happen. But it's actually more so because there's a big fat question mark. No one knows what the fuck she's going to do because she has no policies, no principles. Even worse than no policies, no principles. Because if you can flip from 100 tweets about how a wall is racist to I'm building a wall, I mean, that's demented. I would be embarrassed to even do that. If I was one of you, you know, dumb hoes who got swept up in the media psyop of believing a wall is racist, despite the fact that there is in fact countries all over the world with walls and they work. If I was one of the people who really got psyoped into that and was part of the, oh, that's racist group, and I was talking about, oh, that's racist, I would almost just hold steadfast to that opinion and not flip-flop that hard, because that's embarrassing. Whereas Trump, you know, there was a cute little article that came out just 2 days ago. Trump wants the death penalty for child rapists and traffickers. Anybody got a problem with that? Speak up now. Who has an issue with that? He did a lot to fight trafficking during his first administration. And another important point is that like a ton of trafficking in the United States comes through that open border. So even just closing the border would solve that problem, not solve it, but it would heavily mitigate that problem. And it's just so crazy. You know this if you're any sort of minority voting for Trump, which is, from what I saw interviewing people on the streets of DC, it was a lot of minorities coming over to Trump, like a lot. In fact, it was mostly people of color that were pro-Trump. And you know this if you're one of them, you get hit with the, but he's going to take away your rights. Listen, again, the iron law of woke projection is just so real, because the only people, think of all the rights you have lost over the years. Think of all the times in recent years that you have felt rightless. It was always under Democratic administrations. I mean, I remember when I didn't have the right to go somewhere without a mask on, or the right to enter somewhere without a shot, or the right to not follow those arrows on the ground. Walk left, walk left. That was some lib shit. And here's where the uneducated say, but wasn't Trump president? So we're going to have to understand the system of government and how the president is not, in fact, a dictator, right? Much as y'all say that he was, but he was fighting those Democratic governors tooth and nail to not do that crazy shit. And if you saw in red states, it was very much not like that. In fact, a lot of people who lived in red states during that time don't even really relate to that story, where it's like, oh, no, yeah, we couldn't go to the beach or grocery stores or restaurants, or people couldn't work. And those were all liberal policies. It's just insane. I mean, and what are these rights he's trying to take away? Should we address them one by one? Trump wants to take away gay marriage. He had a gay wedding at his house a few months ago. Trump wants to take away trans rights. He's against kids getting sex changes, which is the only normal position to have on that issue. Trump's going to take away abortion. He's leaving it up to the states, which is, in fact, a very constitutionally valid opinion to have. I mean, y'all can want that sweeping ban on abortion, but as someone who has been over the years trying to figure out exactly how I feel about abortion, I think it's a good thing that it's state by state. There's plenty of issues that are state by state. Let that be one of them. And if you want to live somewhere where that's legal, vote for that. Move somewhere where that's legal. It just is what it is. He supports it in instances of rape and incest, and is leaving the rest up to the states. And that's just a normal position to have as well. What are the rights he's trying to take? They'll definitely say he's trying to take away rights for black people. They'll never elaborate, though, because that's just retarded. I mean, that one just doesn't make sense. And don't get me started on Trump is going to deport all the Latinos and immigrants. So having an issue with illegal immigrants means he's deporting all immigrants. I saw someone saying JD Vance's wife is going to, this was the tweet. Is someone going to tell Trump and JD Vance that their wives are going to get deported if Trump wins? Babe, at some point, we got to find a cure for that brain rot, because if you think that being against illegal immigration means that their wives who are legal immigrants are going to get deported, sick. And then they want to say, Trump said something about black jobs. Oh, how demeaning he would say black jobs.
Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
defending black people in that statement and saying that illegal immigrants are taking black jobs held by black people, by black Americans, because we should be America first. And everyone said it was racist.
They're losing their jobs because Biden and Harris are allowing millions of people to come into our country, and they're taking black people's jobs.
It's sick and twisted. The ease at which they lie to you and the ease in which some of y'all gobble it up. Obviously not the members of the Blaire White Army, because that thinking is on a higher plane for us. But it's scary. That fluoride, right? That fluoride lowering that IQ is just so real. Invest in fluoride-free toothpaste. Blaire White said so. Don't drink tap water. Blaire White said so. If you have any confidence in any advice I would ever give you, just work on that. Open that pineal gland up, babe. Start to see the forest through the trees. Start to see what this life really is. Start to see the lies, because it's a lot of them. I am in the weirdest mood, but am I wrong? I might do too much. I might talk like a crackhead, but am I lying? Oh, wait. Next, Secret Service ending protection for RFK Jr. following his endorsement of Trump. Remind me again, if I lied about these bitches being the spawns of Satan. And I know I sound goofy. Listen, I have a certain way of talking. I really do. And I have a certain way of communicating things that people might not find so serious, right? But imagine the gravity, the depths of the evil of an administration for which the Secret Service is ran by Biden. It's ran by whoever the current president is. Saying, oh, you endorsed our enemy? You endorsed a political candidate we don't like? You no longer have Secret Service. A Kennedy. A guy whose father and uncle were assassinated, and he doesn't get... Who gets it? If not a Kennedy. And I'd be interested to know, does his family get it? Do the other Kennedys, do the lived out Kennedys who are throwing RFK under the bus for endorsing Trump, do they get it? I got to look into that. But very interesting, very timely, right? Also very timely is the hit pieces out, First of all, RFK accused of being a cocaine dealer at Harvard University, as former classmate speaks out. The day after his endorsement, now he's a cokehead. First of all, he was cute as hell back then. Look at him. See, when we talk about physiognomy and who is a spawn of Satan, pedophile adjacent, evil person, a few people we've mentioned today fit that description. You can tell by his physiognomy he's a nice guy, and I think we should all start doing cocaine. If cocaine does this at age 70 or whatever the hell he is, maybe we should all do coke. Is it that bad if it does that? I mean, my God, RFK Jr. allegedly had affairs with 37 women in 2001. Oh, so he fucked bitches and did coke? Miss me with the tears. I mean, I'm not exactly shook, except RFK Jr. once beheaded a dead whale with a chainsaw and tied head to roof of his family's minivan. All right, he lost me a little bit with that, but no one's perfect. We all have our indiscretions, and if you want to judge someone for beheading a dead whale with a chainsaw and tied in the roof to his family's minivan, I mean, who are you to cast the first stone? What have you done? Probably not that. That's like crazy. I'm going to pretend I didn't read that one because that one makes me question some things. But regardless, I do love his actual positions and the inclusion of him in the Trump administration. Trump has, promised to include him in the administration. I believe in the transition team. And, he also promised to declassify the JFK files. Banger. That would be a banger move. And unfortunately, because the Kennedy family is just so demonic, they would rather throw RFK under the bus for aligning with someone they don't want to vote for and they don't support than get justice for JFK, their blood, their family, who was assassinated in cold blood, who just so also happens to be an American president, an icon, and that the country deserves information. The country deserves to know what the fuck went down with that. Humanity deserves to know what the fuck went down with that, and what went down July 13th with Trump. See, are you getting it yet? The Secret Service lets Trump get shot. And make no mistake, they let it happen, babe. Ain't nobody that incompetent. Nobody. And the stuff that's coming out about that is wild. So they let Trump get assassinated, and then, sorry, God forbid, they let Trump almost get assassinated. They let that bullet get through, right? Just like they let those migrants get through. And they suspend protection for RFK because he endorsed Trump. We're up against sick people. We're up against sick people. That much is clear. I don't know. I don't really relate to people who see themselves on anyone else's side right now. Yeah, I'm on the side of the people that the government's trying to kill, babe. I am, because you look through history. Who has the government conspired to kill that was, an American and one of our people that wasn't ultimately good and trying to better humanity? I mean, RFK's entire platform, they're calling it MAHA now, MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, please. Because we're being poisoned. We're being poisoned. Listen, I've never been to Europe. Y'all know. I'm an OG American. And when I say that, my ancestry DNA says I'm 20% indigenous American. I've been here. I'm loyal to the soil. I've been up on this piece of land, babe. And I come from strong roots, right? Unfortunately, they came over and killed most of my people. But some of us survived. And guess what the shade is? Guess what the gag is? Some of us survived just to end up getting poisoned by the fluoride and the chemicals in the water to end up a tranny. You see, they have a long-term plan. It wasn't enough to come through and pillage and rape and kill my beautiful people. They had to also, on the long term, be like, if we don't get him now, we'll get him with that fluoride a couple hundred years. And now look, I'm a whole GMO. We got to save the health of America. And you can just see how sick we are, and you can see the lies. If y'all remember, I feel like I laid this out pretty nicely in my, I guess the video is almost a year ago now, because time flies, bitch. The fat positivity video I did, I think like last December, I think I really broke it down about how that entire movement is a government psyop to keep us sick and make us proud of being sick, which is a whole other layer to the psyop. Want to talk about MK Ultra? We're all a bunch of sleeper cell ass bitches. And unfortunately, you have one side doing nothing about that because they're being funded by the people doing that. And you have one side saying we got to fix that. And the government's trying to kill them. So if you want to put 1 and 1 together, 1 and 2 together, 1 + 1 = 2, bitch. Also, if you want me to lay it out for you and solve this dilemma of who you should vote for you, I would say the side of the government trying to croak. And by the way, if you don't believe the government tried to croak Trump on July 13th, I just can't relate to you. I can't, because this much is obvious. This much is obvious. And if you believe the opposite, you're really going to have to get off that brain rot, TikTok, libbed out algorithm you're on. Reset, babe. Uninstall the app. Reset your location and just start a new algorithm, because that's a really, really low vibe. Low vibes. And now, as if this episode hasn't been demented enough, we are going to have to unfortunately turn it up a notch and react to woke TikToks. Let's go.
Being misgendered can be an incredibly painful experience. It's your mindset the world places us in doesn't change.
Hey, bro.
Hey, what's up? Have you heard the good news?
Are you pregnant?
That's not possible.
Blossom finally got a good wig?
That's even less possible. Even better. I'm going on tour. I am so excited to be doing a live version of my podcast at the Blaire White Project all over America and Toronto, Canada. Each show will have a signing, a meet and greet, a special hangout for VIP fans, and a portion where you can grab the mic and talk to me, ask me questions, drag me. Don't do that. I would say my podcast is pretty uncensored, but imagine how uncensored we can get together in person. I'm a little scared. We're stopping in Austin, Phoenix, Washington, D.C., Brooklyn, Atlanta, Toronto, Canada, Minneapolis, Chicago, Orlando, Dallas, Houston, and Nashville. Get your tickets now at x1entertainment.com/Blaire White, link in the description. You guys know I have not done any in-person events in years, literally, so I don't know when the next time this is gonna happen. This is something very special for the Blaire White Army, so if you're a member of the Blaire White Army, I'm gonna need you to make sure you don't miss the Blaire White Takes America tour. See you soon. This one looks promising. Captioned, I shouldn't have to disclose that I have HIV.
I put HIV positive on my profiles. People don't want to touch you. I remember being on a date with someone. So I brought him back to my place. Was like, okay, like I need to tell you something. Like I'm HIV positive. And I remember he like looked at me. It was like I murdered him. I was like, I thought he was going to beat the shit out of me. He was like, I can't believe you wouldn't tell me. And like you gave me HIV and like was just losing his mind. And I'm like, no, that's not possible. Even if I bled on you, like in an open wound, like that wouldn't happen. I'm undetectable. And like, you know, but he just like didn't want to hear it. Now, like, the way the law goes, like being undetectable, like I really don't have to like disclose my status. Right. And you think about it, like anyone that you meet on your first date or if like you're hooking up, like are you like, I have diabetes, I have high blood pressure. You're not telling them any of this shit. Where HIV is now, like if you are undetectable, like you don't necessarily like have to disclose that. I don't think you're putting anyone at any risk that you have to like necessarily go through that. But it's because of the stigma and shame that I feel like I have to disclose. People would look at that as betrayal.
Would they look at it as betrayal because that's just their oh so invalid opinion, or are they just looking at the objective reality? Because that's attempted murder. That's attempted murder. Were you raised in a barn? Because you're a barnyard ass bitch. That is some weirdo, backwoods, like in another timeline, you would just be an incest hillbilly. But yet here you are, this enlightened they, them. That's this person's pronouns. An enlightened they, them. Thank God you have evolved from the ancestral hillbilly into the enlightened they, them who has sex with men and does not tell them beforehand that you have HIV. That is attempted murder. And you should be in jail. But unfortunately, you know, this person is not necessarily violating the law in all places because in California, they made it not a felony. They downgraded it from a felony to not disclose. And listen, I understand that HIV and AIDS is not what it used to be, babe. It is not, you know, like the 80s or the 90s where it was inherently a death sentence. You know, I mean, this person, their soul is sick, but they don't look like they're withering and dying right now. So clearly it's not what it used to be, right? However, the entitlement, the narcissism that it takes to go around in life as a they, them, expecting people to respect your pronouns, but you don't have enough respect for your sexual partners to be like, hey, just so you know, I do have HIV. That is, we got to pull the plug. We got to pull the plug on this queer ass, woke ass shit. This is what happens when you overdose on queerness. This bitch has OD'd on queer.
I'm going to be real, and I don't give a fuck what anybody say. Black children need to be separated from white children and any other race when it comes to education, because no other race, especially white people, will tell the black person's history truthfully about where they come from, who they are, and what they are. The white person will only suppress the black person's history to maintain their genetic survival, to bring about a news story that doesn't even exist.
Imagine being so anti-racist that you get up on camera so boldly, so bravely, to say that black children should be segregated from white ones. I mean, that is just beyond, sir. And to genuinely believe it, right? Like, not be saying it as a joke. To really believe in the busted, crusted, and disgusted Disney movie playing only in your own head that you are the hero of the situation. That you're coming in to set it straight. And I am so sorry to inform you. I don't want to get too deep here. If you think that only black people have a fake history being told to them, we all do. The more I look into history, the older I get, the more I realize we have been lied to every step of the motherfucking way. And that cuts across all races, babe. Sorry to say, you can't really segregate. We're all in this together. High School Musical, we're all in this together. We are all victims of a regime that lies about who and what we are. And we're all victims of being told a story that is just inaccurate about who and what we are. You think that the people at the tippity top running this world, who runs the world, not girls, Beyonce, you wouldn't even know their names. You really think these people see themselves as even human, or do they see themselves as above white people and black people? We're all some peasants, bitch. Get your mind right.
I'm a little trans girl, small and cute. These are my pigtails, yes, they're real. When I get all steamed up, I can pout. That tip me over part sounds kind of inappropriate though. So I'm going to stop the song there and keep it kid friendly. For all my young followers out there, stay proud, stay beautiful, and stay kind.
Reopen the mental wards. You know what? I'll even do the world's my own act of service if it means that it just goes so overboard and they start locking up real trannies too. I don't give a fuck, because this person needs to be locked up. I'll do a 6-month stint in the mental ward, bitch. I'll do my time as long as y'all lock this person up for life. Right? Because this is unfit to walk the streets. There's no get out. I'm gonna need Miss Pinky Pigtails over here to be included in that mass deportation plan, Trump. This shit makes you want to call Trump. Let him know what's really going on. And you know what? That might buy some of the undocumented immigrants some time to get those papers, because he's clearly going to prioritize this. This needs to be fixed first. I don't know what goofy ass country you even send this bitch to. Perhaps an island. Perhaps into orbit.
Why do you support Kamala Harris? Is she brat?
She's so brat. Oh my god.
She's so brat. What makes her so brat?
Just like has that I don't give a fuck energy, and that's so brat. Like, and Charlie XCX branded her as brat.
Yep.
So we have to listen to Mother.
Thoughts on the TikTok ban?
I'm uneducated about it, but I think it's ridiculous.
It's a wrap, right? It's a wrap. It's over. It's over. You know, the one thing Kamala Harris ate on was saying that this age range just a little bit stupid. You know I have a lot of younger people that follow me, and so I'm just really glad not all y'all are like this, but this is called the end of a civilization, babe. This is that collapse they've been talking about. This is that collapse we've seen in history from other countries, other, powers throughout history. Yeah, this is the end. Brat. I'm going to need y'all to stop getting your political opinions from rich and famous people while also simultaneously saying the Republican Party only cares about rich and famous people. This is y'all. Libs will go on and on about how Republicans only care about wealthy people, the rich. Oh my God. And also, did you hear Oprah is voting for Kamala? Me too. Did you hear Beyonce is voting for Kamala? Oh my God. Charlie XCX said brat. Not to mention, if you're going to get your opinions from any celebrity, I'm going to at least expect them to be fucking American, bitch. I am once again begging Brit Bongs with bad opinions to stay out of America's business. And this is why y'all are getting arrested for memes, put in prison. We've seen what y'all have voted yourselves into over the years.
Why are y'all voting for Kamala Harris?
I don't want to lose my rights. Like, I'm a trans man and I'm gay and I have been pregnant and I've had an abortion before and I don't want to lose that. I'm afraid of not being able to be myself anymore because from what I've heard, Trump's America doesn't want me to look like this. So
Trump's America doesn't want me to look like this. She said it like she knew she was just so the baddest bitch, and you're not. I promise you, Trump is not prioritizing banning emo looking ass bitches. And like, what are you worried about? Trump's America doesn't want me to look like this. Yeah, he's really going to be putting up policy about that horrible haircut. I mean, that would actually benefit everyone if that fucking haircut became illegal. Please stop talking. Because when you speak, no value comes out. Nothing of any worth leaves those little lips. It's sad. It's sad. And when I talk about victims, it's really the common theme, how we've all been colonized and sterilized, right? There you go, right? Because this is a bitch who's been colonized and sterilized and came out somewhat on top because I'm living a relatively productive life. This bitch is up on camera talking about, I'm a gay trans man and I've had abortions and I just really want to keep killing babies. Come again? Come the fuck again. Her friend don't even look like she believes what the fuck. Her friend is like, damn, I didn't know you were this dumb. I'm just in it to wear cool makeup and whatever. You're really about this life, aren't you? I would say you need pills, but that's probably the problem. That's probably the root of this problem.
White people are truly so dense. So there's this woman that had a cool dog and my dog was cool with her.
My God.
With her dog. So they like played a little bit and then her friend like pulls up and we start talking about my dog. She's a German Shepherd, Belgian Malinois. And she's like, oh yeah, like all the dogs that protect like the president are Malinois. And then I start talking about how like trainers end up being super racist and they are racist. And then it perpetuates a stereotype of my dog that like she doesn't fuck with black and brown people, which is the opposite. I literally told them, I was like, I trained her to not like white people.
So they have officially ran out of fucking stupid shit to say. So they're worried about stereotypes against dogs now. My God, look at that demented little face. Look at that egghead. This bald bitch. Starting a video talking about white people are dense. So here's like how I'm fighting stereotypes against dogs. The fluoride. The fluoride. Again, if Blaire White never taught you anything, fluoride-free toothpaste, stop drinking tap water. Because ain't no way if that pineal gland was even cracked open a little bit, even a little bit, she would be up on camera talking this dumb shit. And it's sad. It's bleak. Imagine what her life is like. Let's picture that. Let's picture that. What kind of miserable shit you got to be going through to be talking about white people are so dense. Let's talk about dog stereotypes. Somebody's dogging you. Clearly. It is at this point that I have to inform you that I have indeed tapped out. This has been quite a ride. I mean, I'm not sure what it does to my brain to have just rapid fire these people coming in and out of my consciousness and trying to entertain y'all while doing it. I don't really know what it's doing to me personally, but can't be more harmful than that fluoride, right? Thank you for watching. Subscribe to this channel as well as my main channel. Follow me on X and Instagram. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, all the places that it exists. And I will see you on tour and in the next video.